The story begins as our broken, starving low-life protagonist named Ryuma is kicked out of a restaurant for being a food thief. Nearby, a man is revered by several people as the legendary master swordsman that is said to be on par with the king. His name is Shirano, and he's greeted by a waitress who is an old acquaintance of his. Our boy Ryuma arrives desperate to put something in his empty stomach, and moments later he is thanking the waitress for giving him his first meal in 5 days. As a noble swordsman and honorable man, Ryuma vows to repay the waitress named Flare, even if it cost him his life. Just then Shirano grazes Ryuma's sword with his own, so Ryuma stops Mr. Mustache. Shirano apologizes for having poor sword etiquette, but Ryuma explains that a sword means life to a swordsman, Shirano being a swordsman as well. Ryuma assured that he knows that an apology won't suffice. There are severe consequences, since striking someone's sword is equal to challenging them to a duel. Ryuma tells Shirano to draw his sword and he begins his attack. Shirano easily dodges it, causing Ryuma to slice a statue in half instead. But Shirano is actually impressed. Shirano instantly strikes back, shocking everyone, but he stops just short of cutting Ryuma's head off. Sure, no claims victory, but real man isn't satisfied, as he believes the fight isn't over until one of them ends up in a grave. He explains that swordsmen duel to the death and demands that sure, no fight him. Just then Flare tells him to stop, so Ryuma does, as he can't deny the wishes of his savior. Some bystanders are amazed by Ryuma's attack, since it was able to cut right through the statue. That is solid bronze. Afterwards, Rigoma told about a surprise attack that took place 7 years ago. A small town in the mountains was attacked by a dragon that appeared without warning, and it burned the entire village to the ground. The little village was surrounded by mountains, so the poor villagers couldn't get out, and no one could get to the town to save them. This incident shook the world with fear, reminding it of how frightening dragons can be. Everyone had assumed that the entire village was wiped out, but one day a single swordsman emerged from the ashes. He was carrying a child, and he explained that it nearly cost him his life, but he had to save the girl. That man was Shirano. He was already famous as a sword master, but he became legendary for stepping alone into the raging inferno, fighting off the dragon and saving the child. Ryuma is then shocked when he learns that this child was Flare. The bartender reveals that Shirano is said to be second in swordsmanship only to the king. The king is the world's greatest swordsman, but Ryuma's crazy, and he would like nothing more than to fight him someday. This will prove difficult, however, as no one even knows who he is or what he looks like. Afterwards, Ryuma's all smiles that they're finally eating, but his sword is somehow bumped again. He stops the strange-looking guy that did it, but everyone is stunned to see that he has been stabbed. The guy wonders why Ryuma would do such a thing, but Ryuma says he didn't even touch him. The weird guy says that everyone there witnessed that Ryuma stabbed him for no reason, but he begins to realize something. He determines that Ryuma must know what he has, and wants to take it from him. This guy makes a big deal about this thing he has, and tells Ryuma that he will never give it to him. He vows to take Ryuma down with him if he ends his life, and even promises to take the town down as well. Ryuma has had enough, but this guy finally reveals that the item he won't let him have is the dragon's horn. This guy blows on the horn, and everyone in town instantly becomes terrified. The dragon's horn was stolen years ago, and it is able to summon dragons. Everyone refuses to believe that it's real, but the clown assures them that it is and snaps it in half. All the townspeople panic over their imminent doom, and Zoro just wonders if he is getting pranked. Everyone loses their minds from fear, and they take out their frustrations on Ryuma. He explains that he didn't stab the guy and asks Flare to help him out. Flare slaps him though, as she is the angriest of all. She is certain that Ryoma has never seen a dragon before, so he could not even imagine how horrifying they are. Ryoma has no clue what's going on, but he is certain that it has nothing to do with him, and he refuses to take responsibility. Everyone is of course furious to hear this, and they point out that unless the horn is fake, then they are all done for. Just then Shirano arrives and confirms that the horn is real. He knows this because all the guards that gave their lives trying to defend it were his subordinates. Shirano is overwhelmed with guilt for not being there to help them. He points out that whether or not it's Ryuma's fault, the dragon will still come in the most dramatic way possible. Shirano asks the townspeople if they will let them fight the dragon once more, and everyone cheers their savior. Flare knows how dangerous this is though, and explains that no one on Earth can defeat a dragon alone. Not even Shirano is a match for the dragon, but Shirano explains that he knew that this day would eventually come. He did what he could to prevent it, as he spent many years trying to find the horn. Shirano has failed however, and now only wants a chance to end things once and for all. Everyone is touched by Shirano's nobility. Baruma isn't impressed. He actually uses some common sense, and points out that they should just evacuate the town. If there is no one in the town, then no one will have to fight the dragon, unless they want to protect a bunch of empty buildings. All the villagers get angry and demand that he seppuku himself. Buruma would like to see someone try and make him. Shirano instructs everyone to evacuate and vows to protect their homes, even if it costs him his life. However, if he falls in battle, then he would just like for them to forgive him for failing them. After everyone evacuates, we see that Ryuma and Flare have stayed behind. Ryuma wonders if dragons are really as terrifying as she says, and determines that Shirano must be a really amazing swordsman for wanting to fight against it. Flare has some serious PTSD from the last dragon attack, so she runs to stop Shirano. One man against a dragon is just too reckless, so she can't let him go through with it. Ryuma tries to stop her since he doesn't think she can help Shirano, but she just puts our boy down. She explains that Shirano is risking his life. He is a man that wants to save people's lives, not take them the way Ryuma does. Something triggers Ryuma, so he uses his sword to calm her down. He tells her not to turn back and to come with them so they can get out of town. Flare refuses and turns away from him, so Ryuma tries to stop her from seeing something. But it's too late. Flare is absolutely stunned as she sees Shirano, together with the guy that had the horn. These guys laugh it up with handfuls of gold, and Flare's mind shatters as all of Shirano's words replay in her head. She is stunned, so Ryuma pulls her aside, since they would surely end her life if they saw her. It's clear now that these guys scared everyone out of town, so they could loot the entire place. Ryuma feels really bad for Flare, but he can't even think of what to say. Ryuma can hear the loud mouths from there, and they laugh about how this time will be just like how they did 7 years ago. They use the real horn to call the dragon, and by the time it gets there, they will be long gone. Flare must then listen as Shirano shows his true evil colors. He mocks her for being so happy to see him, and wonders how many people have had their town destroyed by a dragon twice. The other guy even pities her just a little, but Shirano points out that at least they don't have to kill people this time. A look back shows that Shirano and his buddy set up to surprise attack themselves. No one could escape the inferno because of the mountains. But this was perfect for the evil guys, and they eliminated everyone, so no one would ever know what really happened. After they finished ending everyone's lives, Flare appeared looking for help. Her parents were trapped under their house, and she begged Shirano to save them. Shirano found her father, who was glad to see that Flare was alive. Her father had no clue who he was talking to, so he thanked Shirano for saving his daughter. He asked for help getting up, but Shirano just ended his life instead. The evil duo had successfully managed to get a ton of loot, but Shirano wasn't satisfied and decided that he wanted fame as well. He had his buddy go on ahead, while he pretended to be the hero that saved the girl. Flare is clearly distraught, and the guys can't even imagine what she would do if she discovered that someone she trusted destroyed her town, and even killed her parents. Another look back shows Shirano flexing his acting skills, as he begged Flare for forgiveness, since he couldn't save her parents. The now lifeless Flare apologizes to Ryuma for all the terrible things she accused them of. Flare refuses to wallow in pity though, since she doesn't want to give the scumbags the satisfaction. She tells Ryuma that he should leave, since the dragon is coming either way, and she wishes him luck in his travels. Claire returns to the tavern, but she can't hold back her emotions any longer and breaks down in tears. The evil guys keep laughing it up, and we see that Ryoma can hear Flare crying. Ryoma gets a real fearsome look in his eyes and angrily rushes off in a mad dash, so furious that he can hardly keep his balance. The dragon can be heard nearby, and all the villagers watch as they think that Shirano is their only hope. They wonder what they did to deserve this, and blame Ryuma for everything. To them, he was just some nobody that came and ruined their lives, so they put all their trust in Shirano. Just then Ryuma confronts Shirano. The shameless scumbags come clean about everything, and brag about how they were the ones that slaughtered all the guards. To steal the dragon horn, Shirano gets the brilliant idea to eliminate Ryuma, so he can take all the blame and charges at him. Ryuma thinks about all the people that treasured Shirano, and uses all his anger to slice right through Shirano. In a split second, Ryuma sheaths his sword before Shirano's body can even touch the floor. And the clown can't believe that Shirano is defeated so easily. Shirano was undoubtedly rotten to the core, but the clown points out that he was still a master swordsman. This guy rightfully feels threatened, so he explains that he can still call off the dragon with the real dragon's horn. Not just anyone can do it though, and it took him 3 years to master the skill. He is the only one that can stop the dragon, so he tells Ryuma that if he wants to save the town, then he better let him live. Unfortunately for this guy though, Ryuma explains that this isn't his town. Just then the townspeople are terrified as a giant dragon has arrived. The dragon uses its fire breath and sets the town ablaze. The townspeople are certain that their town will burn now, and they are doomed. Seeing a dragon for the first time has made them realize that not even Shirano will be able to defeat it. Back in town, Flower sits in darkness, and the dragon finds her. She walks right out to confront the creature, and doesn't even flinch when this horrifying beast threatens her life. Flare is ready to die along with the town, but she is stunned to see Ryuma appear out of nowhere. The dragon quickly turns its attention to him. Ryuma dodges all its attacks. He makes his way onto the dragon's back, but it goes airborne. Ryuma's resolve is unwavering however, So he makes his way up the dragon and uses just one attack to cut its head off. Afterwards, Ryuma, surprised by how big the lizard's wings are, flares at a complete loss for words. And Ryuma is just shocked that she is still there. He tells her to stop thinking about ending her life and explains that he has heard that being dead is no fun. Flare can't believe how strong he is and demands to know who he is. She also wants to know why he fought the dragon and risks life for a town he doesn't even live in. Ryuma explains that he already told her before she saved his life, and he promised to pay her back, even if it killed him. Now that he thinks about it though, he fought for her twice, so she actually owes him a favor. Now our boy just wants a free meal next time, and Flare promises not to forget. Afterwards, all the townspeople learn the truth and wonder if that one mysterious samurai turned out to be the real savior. Just then the bartender remembers the name Ryuma the King. This name is given to a man by those he saved. Although he is known as the king, Ryoma himself doesn't seem to realize that the legendary king everyone speaks of is actually him sometime in the future. We see that Ryuma has been through some stuff. He drops his sword, and it is caught by a mysterious man with green hair, multiple swords, and an extremely poor sense of direction. The mystery man tells Ryuma that he is a true swordsman. In mind and body he accepts that. Ryuma feels ashamed and wishes he could have met Ryuma when he was still alive. Mystery man is glad to accept Ryuma's sword, but would like for them to just pretend that their fight never happened. He makes sure that's okay with the man he calls the samurai from Wano, and we get one last look at Ryuma. Thanks for watching my recap.